Greetings, horror fans. I'm horror author Reed Alexander, and this is my novella, The Diabolic Mind. I'm going to read from you from a secret section that was removed from the actual printing. This is the chapter 3 Kings. Securing the room for the ritual was the hardest part. All of the rooms big enough for 3 chairs had windows. Only one guest bathroom and 2 broom closets had no windows and weren't large enough for all 3 components. Even Mom's fancy walk-in closet had a window. Not that little Parisia elders could use it. How could she sneak past her sleeping parents? For that matter, how could she set up a ritual without her parents discovering it in the closet? Neither her mother nor her father had time for such ridiculous superstitions. Both would chide her for letting her imagination run away with her. But now Parisia had found her throne room, a small storage space in the back of a basement with only one small window. It was easy enough to block out the window, easy enough to set up the ritual without alerting her parents, and easy enough to sneak into at night. Everything was placed just so. Mirrors, candles, a small desk fan, the mug with that fat cartoon unicorn. The hardest part was figuring out north, east, and west for the chairs. When the alarm went off at 3:30 a.m., she was so excited. Her heart raced half the night. She squirmed more than slept. But when the alarm clock went off, her little blue eyes flashed open, and she fought her tangled dark locks out of her face. Quickly, she scooped up her vibrating phone, shut off the alarm. The internet said she'd need to keep everything together so she didn't lose it during the night. Time was of the essence, the blog said. Whatever that meant. More specifically, it told her she had 3 minutes to go to her throne room. Quickly, she scooped up the vibrating phone, shut off the alarm, and dialed her friend Jessica. The phone rang for some time and then disconnected. A full minute wasted. She gathered up the reagents, the collar of her dead family cat, Buster. She worried her plans would fall through. None of this would work without Jessica. She dialed again as she snuck down the front stairs. This time she was successful. Phone on speaker as she roused her friend from slumber. Hurry! You only have about 2 minutes or it's ruined. In a hushed rasp, Parisia chided her friend. Across the street, Jessica fussed with her slippers, then quietly snuck out of her room, down the stairs of her home, out the front door. Parisia was annoyed, waiting with the door held open. It's not like this is going to work anyway. Jessica yawned as she followed her friend through the door, down into the basement. Be quiet, we only have 45 seconds. Parisia hissed as quietly as she could. The two absconded into the basement and dashed for the throne room. Parisia slipped through the door with seconds to spare. Quickly she lit her candle, fighting with her light and the fan's wind, and sat down. It was musty, so Parisia's fan lofted dust into the air, making the room uncomfortable, hard to breathe in without choking a bit. It was also as cold as an icebox, and Parisia's nightgown did little to insulate her. Her toes were numb, and her body convulsed with shivers. Through the door of the throne room, Jessica prodded her friend curiously. Do you see anything? Did anyone show up? Quiet! You have to be quiet, Parisia commanded from her seat on the other side of the door. There was a moment of silence and a strange stillness. The fan stopped blowing. The candle flickered oddly and grew brighter. Parisia remembered the most important warning. No matter what, don't look at either of the mirrors. She swallowed hard and asked the question, Is it possible to bring Buster back to life? There was a pause, an uncomfortable silence that lingered in the stillness of the air. Parisia felt like she was a million miles away from the throne room she'd created, and the walls around her seemed darker and blacker. She asked again, Is it possible to bring Buster back to life? What she heard next sounded more like the creaking of a door to her left. A sound so alien hardly registered as words, and yet in the odd noise, she made out the statement, can do that for you. Like a reflex spurred by fear, Parisia looked into the mirror on her left.